Hello, and welcome to the Dually Leadership Experience Career Compass podcast, where we explore the skills, strategies, and mindset shifts that help you thrive in today's workplace. I'm your host, Jason McGill, Creative Coordinator for the DLE. Each episode delivers practical guidance and fresh perspectives to help you navigate your career with clarity and confidence. Now that 2026 is underway, in today's episode, we're all about leveling up. We call it getting career crisp, not through lofty resolutions, but through focused, intentional, skill building, and bold action. If you are ready to step outside your comfort zone, feel more fulfilled at work, and lead with confidence, this episode is for you. Joining me, as always, is Linda Dooley, President and founder of Dooley & Company, a nationally recognized workplace transformation expert known for turning organizational breakdowns into breakthroughs. Linda also underwrites and leads the Dooley Leadership Experience, connecting professionals nationwide through free career development and networking programs. Welcome, Linda.
Thanks, Jason. And I am looking forward to sharing some great insights.
Great to have you. Also joining us today is Victoria Macher, DLE's social media coordinator and a recent Marist University graduate, bringing a Gen Z perspective to career growth. Welcome, Victoria.
Thanks, Jason. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, great to have you as well. Let's start with this idea of leveling up. What do we mean by career crisp?
Right. The headliner of the podcast, what we call Career Crisp, well, it is intentionally provocative. It's not really a phrase you hear every day. And my guess is most of our listeners have really never heard the pairing. We incubated the phrase at Dooley & Company and the Dooley Leadership Experience as a career advancement strategy that we believe is essential for 2026 as AI is rapidly upending the operational and organizational procedures of every industry. The AI explosion demands that we level up, and not casually, but deliberately. Career Crisp is about having more than a wish list for your career. It's about having clear direction and a concrete roadmap to guide your advancement. So simply put, career direction plus concrete goals plus deliberate action defines and delivers career crisp.
Yeah, I love the idea of that. Linda, often what I see when January rolls around is that many people feel motivated to take their career in a new direction, but they often don't know where to start. Is that something you've seen?
Oh, yes, often. And many begin with great intentions because they're jazzed up by new dreams of achievement. But the sizzle quickly fizzles because there's no concrete plans to get them moving. As a former Nautilus instructor during my college days and a present day fitness fanatic, I see this in my gym often. At the onset of January, there are droves coming through the doors, and most of these folks have received a membership card as a holiday gift. But after several weeks, attrition has set in, and most of those new faces, well, they're vanished. They're gone because the membership card didn't fuel their drive. And similarly, vague goals like be more successful or get promoted aren't enough to drive career advancement.
Wow. So if that doesn't work, then what would you really recommend?
Getting gritty. You got to get gritty about your aspirations to get moving. So, to help our listeners get gritty and become career crisp, I'm going to offer 3 questions, and I encourage everyone to write them down and regularly revisit them. Notebook out, pen out, text out, whatever you want to be doing, but here are the questions for you to record. 1, what does it take to be more successful? 2, what is the essence of the success that I seek? 3, what will I experience by being more successful? These 3 questions will help create clarity and clarity will fuel momentum.
So let's examine each of those questions. And the first one is, what does it take to be more successful?
And who doesn't ask themselves this question, whether in your career pursuits or hobbies and sports outside of work? It's only natural to want to get better. Success requires change. Clinging to the status quo won't cut it. So your knowledge or your skills, your exposure, your experience, your credentials, your connections, these and other career accelerants will need to undergo the microscope for evaluation, and you're going to have to identify what you need to change to help you become career crisp. Do you need, for example, to expand your network? Do you need an advanced degree or certain certification? Do you need perhaps international experience? Or maybe you need to change a role in your organization. Maybe you need to move to a new region or country. So to level up and to be more successful, you have to identify and prioritize the critical action that will help you get out of your current routine and again, level up.
That's a powerful concept, Linda. Becoming more successful requires a more aggressive game plan.
That's right, Jason. And I'm going to hopefully illustrate it with a personal example that resonates for folks. I'm a competitive rower. Hopefully, people out there are competitive. Maybe you're a golfer or swimmer and competitive in that, or at work. And let's go back to me being this competitive rower. It's something I've been doing for more than 13 years. I belong to two rowing clubs, and depending on where I am geographically, given travel, I will row outside on water or inside on a rowing machine at least 5 times a week. And also, I compete regularly. Now, one of my 2026 goals is to win more medals than I did in 2025. And that requires substantial changes to my current training routine. I've got to level up my technical skills, my endurance, my strength, my nutrition, my equipment, and even my budget. That's because rowing's a highly technical sport. So to work harder and longer in coached training sessions with my rowing clubs is a must, as well as at the gym in practices on my own. I'm going to need to make additional time in my weekly schedule to make sure that harder and longer training sessions actually happen. I also will need to increase my race experience, which is going to require competing in more regattas, which requires greater financial investment because of travel and even entry fees for regattas. And as a vegetarian, I need to intentionally increase my protein intake to support harder training, gaining strength, and improving my cardio. And given that the race season stretches 4 seasons, remember I belong to clubs in Florida and Massachusetts, I need to make changes that stick, and they stick for the long run, 12 months. No one and done, 1 month on, and I'm off. These are not short-term shifts. So sustained performance really is a measure of success. But the biggest success metric for me is to win more medals, and that is vividly clear.
Of course, of course. That's a super important point. You need absolute clarity on the metric that you will use to measure your success.
Yeah, I agree. And this really connects to setting smart goals. When goals are specific and time-bound, it's much easier to stay focused and motivated and actually achieve them. Career growth isn't accidental, it's the result of intentional choices repeated consistently.
Absolutely, Victoria. So let's move to question two. What is the essence of the success you seek?
Right. So at its core, this question poses, what are you really after? Is it a certain salary or a title? Maybe you seek company-wide recognition as a subject matter expert or notoriety in your industry that will lead to a speaking engagement. Reverting to my personal story about rowing, over the years, I've increasingly sought to be in better boats. And by better, I'm not focusing on equipment, although having new or well cared for boats is a really big plus. But the apex that I'm seeking is proficiency and to be recognized among the top rowers at my club. and let's call it being in the crew C-suite. So winning medals in major regattas will help catapult me to that level. But beneath my goal is something deeper, much deeper than just having more bling. There's a heartfelt cause. So what I've experienced is that growing older with oars in hands has opened my eyes to the prevalence of ageism. And I do believe it is especially acute for women. Data validates that. A widely reported AARP survey called Mirror Mirror, where 2 out of 3 women aged 50 and older said that they are regularly discriminated against. Well, I am well over 50, and increasingly I have felt the wrath of ageism in business and in the boathouse. For me, success means defying that bias, technically, physically, and competitively. I want to counter negative portrayals of aging by demonstrating that it is a time of continued growth, not decline. So, borrowing a line from my favorite movie, Wicked, if I can defy gravity, I hope to be an inspiration for others facing the challenges of ageism.
Wow, that's a pretty personal story. Thank you so much for sharing that, Linda. I'm sure others out there can relate. So, if this story or topic resonates with you, please share your feedback and email us at dle@dooley.com. Again, that's dle@dooley.com. Knowing the why behind your goals gives it staying power. You have to see it clearly before you can truly pursue it.
Exactly. And that's a great segue to question 3. What will you experience by being more successful? How will you feel? How's your confidence going to feel on you? It's going to shift. How high? What new perspective will you be gaining? You should have a concrete understanding of the impact of the achievement on yourself and others. For me, I'll have a heightened confidence in competing at a much higher performance level, which will help me silence that dreadful imposter syndrome when I'm at regattas and stay calm under pressure. And there will be a heightened pride from truly progressing and persisting the hard, draining work of training. But the greater feeling of fulfillment that I really hope to feel from defying gravity will be hearing someone tell me that my actions inspired them to get up, get moving, and get out of their comfort zone and take action to be their best self, regardless of their age.
I really love that mentality, Linda. So let's switch gears slightly. With AI accelerating change, there's a lot of talk about future-proof skills. Beyond technical ability, what do you see as most critical?
The human skills, because they are the hardest to automate. Relationship building, collaboration, communication, these really are essential. So to be career crisp, you need to be curious and ask better questions. You need to give and receive feedback without defensiveness. You need to facilitate conversations rather than dominate them and listen deeply. And you need to show empathy. Empathy is one of these very big topics for leadership development in 2026. I'm seeing already into the new year number of headline articles in the Harvard Business Review about leadership empathy. These skills position you as an adaptable and indispensable person, leader, manager, individual contributor in any workplace.
Yeah, that first skill, curiosity, really resonates with me. From my perspective, early career professionals sometimes assume confidence comes after experience, but I've learned that it actually comes from practice and exploring, and curiosity is what fuels that. Being curious and trying things before you feel ready builds confidence faster than waiting. I have found in my own work that I really learn the most through trial and error.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, Victoria. I definitely resonate with that as well. So, being curious and trying things necessitates taking action. Yet, at the DLE, we hear stories about people waiting to be noticed, invited, and promoted. How can we encourage someone to break that pattern?
To be career crisp, you're going to have a big mindset shift from waiting. You got to zap yourself from asking, when's someone going to notice me? And you need to start asking, what can I do right now to get noticed? So think about some of these things. And this is not really heavy lifting, folks. So at your next team meeting, and even future ones to that, why don't you recommend an agenda topic rather than just have the agenda handed to you and offer to lead the discussion? You can publicly recognize a colleague for going above and beyond on a team project. Share resources that help your team learn, such as an article or a podcast about your industry, a competitor, or AI, which everyone can't stop talking about. Even being punctual for meetings helps you stand out. Not one of these actions requires permission. The power to execute them lies in you. That intention, however, also needs consistency. These aren't just one and done actions.
Ooh, I think that gives some of our listeners out there some really good food for thought. So your comments about being intentional and consistent remind me of a summer internship opportunity that I actually earned by actively networking with a contact. So during my undergraduate days at Syracuse University, I took advantage of career fairs pretty often. And there was one career fair in particular that connected me to a key contact at a firm that really caught my interest. We had a great conversation at the event. I worked to keep that going after the career fair by following up with them on LinkedIn. And by maintaining the relationship, I was able to get noticed and introduced to key decision makers in the firm, which then opened the door to a paid internship and an invaluable experience. Careers really don't move forward when you wait. They move forward when you follow up. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, that's great, Jason. I definitely agree with that. And I've even seen where a quick comment or message can reopen a door. It doesn't have to be complicated at all. People are actually more likely to remember you when it matters most if you stay in contact with them.
Absolutely, Victoria. That's a great point. So before we wrap up, let's help our listeners design their career crisp roadmap.
Okay, so let's go back to the three questions that we started our conversation with. And once again, I hope you wrote them down and you're going to revisit them often. Number one, what does it take to be more successful? Identify one skill or an experience that you will pursue this year and one stretch action that you're going to take, and make sure it feels uncomfortable. Number two, what is the essence of the success that you seek? Define the real dividend, not just the superficial title or pay. And three, what will you experience by being more successful? Describe how success is going to change you. It's going to change how you think, feel, and show up. You need to know how that feeling is going to be and document your progress, because reflection plus action is where growth happens.
Yeah, definitely. Recording your progress is truly invaluable. Often we get so wrapped up in doing and don't realize how far we have already come. Looking back at where you started in terms of behaviors, actions, and skills will really help you see the progress that you've been making. This is what will actually keep you going even further.
Absolutely. That makes career advancement feel doable, not overwhelming. Remember, being career crisp means acting with intention, curiosity, and courage. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Career Compass. If today's conversation sparked clarity, share it with someone struggling to be career crisp. Having a buddy to help you level up is a huge bonus, because careers grow faster when we don't do it alone. Visit Duly.com for free tools, programs, and resources to support your professional growth. Until next time, keep leading, keep learning, And true to our daily tagline, keep soaring.